having those guys to be able to kind of, if you need to bounce ideas off or if you're not sure, maybe one of them knows, and rather than, being scared and not knowing these other guys, obviously going over with two friends and two teammates really helps all of us be able to settle in, get a feel and just, be able to go from there with each other. I can't imagine like getting traded just by yourself. I knew a couple of guys on the team before in Salt Lake, but still, like, if you go to a team you don't know anyone, like that could definitely be hard and, maybe change, how your transition is. So going over with friends and teammates definitely help and I think smooth everything out.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. It's the Show We Go Baseball podcast. We're dipping into the LA Angels system today. Might be our first Angel of the offseason here. We have Ryan Zeferjahn, and if you're familiar with that name or not familiar, Ryan was traded from the Red Sox to the Angels, and actually at the trade deadline this past year. And then he ended up making his MLB debut in LA. And we will get into all of that in a second here. Ryan, I like to kind of start these off on a little bit of a layup question here for you. But how has your offseason been going for you?
My offseason been good, back in the good old Kansas, just working out, enjoying the offseason, spending time with family and my girlfriend. So I have nothing to complain about, just putting in the work in the off season to get ready for next year while, also enjoying some time at home and with the family. The holidays coming up are a big time. So, I'm enjoying my off season, just relaxing with a little bit of cold weather, but it hasn't gotten too bad yet. So hopefully I get out of here before then.
I didn't ask you this before we started recording, but how many Chiefs games you been to?
I've been to one since I've been back so far. So
Okay.
yeah, went to the Saints game. Maybe I don't know if I'll be here for playoffs, but I've been watching them and following along. So
What have you thought about this year with them just barely squeaking by everybody? I mean, they're winning. I'll give them that. They're winning all the games, but they are barely squeaking by these games. Have you been a little more nervous watching games this year?
no, I don't. I mean, not necessarily nervous. I think it plays a factor into they play close games. They know how to win, especially when it comes to the playoffs. So I don't think you can't put them down until they lose the Super Bowl again. They can win however they want, but as long as they're winning, it's winning. And I think being able to have those close games and be in those situations are big for them. And I think big in any sport when you know how to win late in game when you play regular season, nail biters. So I think that plays into their hands while the fans and other people, I think, frantically, get distressed and are worried when really that helps. And the only games that matter is when the playoffs come. So I think it helps them and they have advantage going into it.
Yeah, I mean they win, and it's they win in the playoffs too, and it's I
Hmm.
don't think there's a quarterback anybody wants to face less than Patrick Mahomes, obviously.
Nope.
But all right, so it kills me to talk about the Chiefs, especially in a positive way. So I gotta switch lanes here. I
All right.
apologize. But let's talk about let's get some of the boring stuff out of the way here. 2024 it was a pretty eventful year for you. Obviously, you made your MLB debut, you got traded. But starting out the year, you started in Double A Portland. You had a very good run, very brief run before you got up to Worcester. So pre-trade, what was your season like for you? Like, what were some things you were working on? I guess what did you think about your, I guess yourself as going up to Worcester?
Yeah, I think for me, the start of the season, I hadn't had a couple good past years. So, starting in Portland, I still had to prove myself there. And I think last offseason, building into that really helped me, take an initiative. And so when I got to Portland, obviously I succeeded quick there, got the call to Wooster. And, obviously it's a little bit of a change, when you're running on such a high, obviously I didn't fail for, 2 months into the season. Obviously, when it hit you, I tried to stop it, but it got, kind of going on a downhill train. And, I had some goods, but the bads that I was working on and, trying to just work on things, obviously command has been my biggest thing, my biggest, flaw with my pitching. So just having those in Worcester, but still, trying to overcome those and, still, going out there and competing and doing my best and, coming up on the trade deadline, obviously you hear things and see things, and we were just hanging out, and it had actually passed the deadline, and Flo came and got us from the locker room, me, Lugo, and Nico, and we're like, hey, you guys have been traded to the Angels, and it hadn't hit yet. You're just kind of packing the bags up and getting ready, and then as when I got over there, missing my friends, just a little different life. It kind of hits you. So I think it took a little bit to hit, and obviously getting traded for the first time, it's obviously kind of big, and you don't know how to handle it and stuff. But I think the big thing was getting over to the Salt Lake Bees. They were welcoming and very nice, and helped us settle in, and I think that made it for having a very good and not a bad transition into a from a trade to a new team.
Yeah, I had your previous manager on this show a couple weeks ago. I had Chad Tracy on, and Tracy, we asked him a little bit about like, hey, you obviously had some guys traded out that you were managing currently whenever they were shipped out, and we were kind of asking him, in regards to you and Nico and Lugo and Nick Yorke, even when he got shipped out as well. We were kind of asking, we were like, how are those talks? Because at the end of the day, it's hard to tell a guy like yourself that's been in the Red Sox system since 2018. Like you've
19.
been 19. I mean, you
Hmm.
were in the Lowell days still, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you were there for the Lowell days, and it's like one of those things where it's like you've been in the system. That's the only system you know. It's all your teammates, all the guys you came up with, and but on the other hand, it's just like, well, you're going to a place where you have a chance to make your MLB debut, most likely, which you ended up doing. So, what do you say? He described it as like it's like a bittersweet thing. It's like I didn't like losing him because I liked him, but then at the same time, he was going to a better opportunity to where he could play. Would you say that's like pretty accurate for how you saw the trade?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is like you're you're playing for 30 teams, when you are playing in the minor leagues, you're trying to get your shot anywhere. Obviously, it would have been awesome to make it with the Red Sox, homegrown, been there through and through. But obviously, once I kind of got settled in, and just the chance was there with the Angels, and the opportunity was better. So obviously, when all the everything happened, being able to make my debut, and that kind of settles in. But obviously, still, it's like all my friends in Worcester, those guys are my brothers now. I'll be friends with some of them for, the rest of my life. And that's one of the biggest parts, with it being kind of a business and everything. There's the both sides, like you said, it's bittersweet, and then, it's hard both ways, the good and the bad.
So you got traded over with three other guys, and two of the guys were teammates with you in Worcester. Was that easier for you to have Nico and have Matthew like with you to go across the country and go to all the new teammates? You obviously had those two guys in Salt Lake's locker room with you, so I would assume it was a little easier transition to have like, okay, I got Nico, like I've known him forever. I got Matthew as well. So like, how helpful was that having two guys with you?
No, it's very helpful, having those guys to be able to kind of, if you need to bounce ideas off, or if you're not sure, maybe one of them knows, and rather than, being scared and not knowing these other guys, obviously going over with two friends and two teammates really helps all of us be able to settle in, get a feel, and just, be able to go from there with each other. I can't imagine like getting traded just by yourself. I knew a couple of guys on the team before in Salt Lake, but still, like, if you go to a team you don't know anyone, like that could definitely be hard, and maybe change how your transition is. So going over with friends and teammates definitely helped, and I think smoothed everything out.
So I want to talk about your MLB debut. You didn't spend too long in Salt Lake before you got called up. Can you take me through what that was like? I guess the time, obviously, like I feel like it was such a short amount of time between you getting traded, you going to Salt Lake, and then you going up. So can you just walk me through like how that was, like with the making your debut and getting called up?
Yeah, got when we got called over, we went to Tacoma, Washington. We went from one coast to the other, and just getting settled in, getting back to Salt Lake. I think I was there like 2 or 3 weeks. We went on a trip to Sacramento, and then back home, and then just sitting in the bullpen one game, and they called down and told me I wasn't needed here anymore. And I kind of had a crazy one where I had they were in Toronto, and with it being across the coast again, I had to get on a flight in 5 hours at midnight and fly overnight to New York City, and then fly to Toronto that day. And then obviously we played that day, so it was just one of those times where it's like, yo, we need you to get on the flight tonight, get ready, get going. So obviously that was a lot. Didn't sleep on the plane, get there. Luckily I didn't throw the first 2 days, kind of got settled in, the nerves, obviously still nervous and everything, but I think a couple of days, obviously talking to guys and just watching, helped a lot. And then obviously when I got my name called, kind of a unique situation as well, someone got hurt and, I went in, threw one pitch and got a strikeout. So that, being my debut was like crazy. I don't even know how to put it in words. I don't know how many people have ever done that. And then, I had a rough first one, but then it's like as I went, I got settled in, I gained confidence, understanding it's still the same game, but obviously just you're kind of under a microscope. So that was the biggest thing for me, I think, is obviously having success helped me be able to calm down and just understand, you can do this. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and just, go out and do what you do. And I think that was the big thing for me that helped me succeed this year was just, staying calm. It's the same game. Just, when they call me, they want me going out there and throwing strikes and getting outs. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and you had a lot of success too. And I know it's a small sample size there in the majors, but you were still missing bats. You still limited walks. Like, you were pitching pretty well for being your first 17 innings or whatever you threw once you got up there. But so going into next season, right, where you're a 40-man roster guy, which compared to last offseason, you were in Double-A, you weren't a 40-man guy, you weren't that close to your MLB debut, kind of close, whatever it was. So now you're a 40-man roster guy, you made your MLB debut, you've had a little bit of success in the major. So what does that do for you going into your next spring training? Does that give you a little added confidence? Like, I guess, how is that like mentally for you?
I mean, I think it's not going to change anything mentally for me. And I think last off season was going into season was the best I felt, confidence, body, everything wise. And I think it showed with, my success and, a big thing they were, harping on for me this year is like, you go home in the off season, don't change anything. Don't go chasing things, you're here for who you are. And, I took that with, just in the weight room, training, that stuff. Get after that. But, I'm not going searching and, trying to do something better than I was. I'm trying to sharpen what I have and, go into spring training and try to, win a spot on the major league roster. I think going in and succeeding, I have a little bit of an upper hand with, I've showed that I could succeed, but I still got to go in, show them what I still have and be able to make the team. It's very easy to, go in there not ready to go. And then all of a sudden it's on you and, you might not make the team and you got to work yourself out of a hole. So I'm trying to give myself, the best opportunity I can going in to make the team and, give them what, they need to win.
Does I know you kind of said like, it's still the same thing. You still got to go out and pitch and everything. But I remember talking with, your former teammate, Chase Sugar, about it. And I had him on, I guess last week. And, I asked him the same question I just asked you, like, hey, you're a 40-man roster guy. You made your debut this year. Like, how does that, like, you're in a much different spot than you were last year. And he was kind of saying like, I have that feeling now where it's like I can go up and help the team. Like, I'm the next guy up. Like, I'm always going to be an option now that I'm on the 40-man. So did you ever have like a sense of like, okay, like once you got added to the 40-man and once you were up there with LA going into the off season where you were kind of like, it was a little added pressure, or do you not see it like that?
No, I don't really see it as added pressure. I think, like I said, having success and, knowing that I was able to succeed up there and just watching the game and knowing, I belong here, I think was a big thing for me as, kind of settling me down and just saying, I'm not going to put too much pressure on me, just keep doing what I'm doing. Don't, go chasing things and whatnot. I think just having that, little taste has helped me, just keep my same routine. I was really good last offseason, coming into the year, like ready to go. I'm not going to change anything because I am on the 40 man or, because I ended in the big leagues. I'm going to keep it how it is and keep working as hard as I was, to make it. And when I finally did make it, I'm not going to change anything. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
There was a photo shared, and I think the Portland Sea Dogs shared it. And I think it was around late August, maybe early September, of you in an Angels uniform, and you were standing in the dugout with Ryan Miller.
Yeah.
and that's a guy that you were teammates with in Portland 2 years ago, last year, 2023, I think.
Yeah, it would have
Um,
been last year.
yeah, I say 2 years because the season's over, but all
Yeah.
right. So 2023, you guys were teammates in Portland.
Yeah.
Could you ever have pictured that image in 2023 when you and Ryan were sharing a bullpen in Portland, and you're going to say to yourself, you're going to say to 2023 Ryan Zeferjahn, hey, you and that guy Ryan Miller right there are going to be on a major league roster in an Angels uniform, both already made your debuts and end up in the exact same spot.
No, I never. That would have been one of the last things on my mind. You just never think of it. Like when he was living in the same apartment complex in Florida as me when he got Rule 5. So obviously we talked, and when he was leaving, I was saying goodbye and stuff, and we caught up a little bit. But as soon as I got traded to the Angels, obviously he was the first one I reached out to, and he was very welcoming and helping and stuff. And then it was awesome when I had gotten up there, and then 3 days later he texts me and goes, "I'll see you soon." And it's like, so getting those texts from guys, or like seeing your friends when I'm Worcester, see them go up. There's no better feeling. So it's like a guy like him, his story, how hard he's worked, and to go up and show that he can do it too it's awesome, and it's great to see. And but I never would have. That would have been the last thing on our mind sitting in the living room in Portland, Maine, and 2023, that we'd both be playing for the Angels and we'd both be in the big leagues next year. That's obviously not a scenario we went through our heads. So
So you probably, I don't know. I have a question here. So there's a
yeah,
lot of your friends that have made their debuts. I know we were just talking about Ryan, we were talking about Suge, we were talking about a few other guys, but out of all of the guys that you've kind of like gotten close with over the years, and kind of seen them grow into who they are and make their debuts, which one was the most special to you? I guess just all your friends.
I'd say the most special was probably Nick Yorke. Me and Nick have gotten close, and being such a young kid, and me trying, just being there for him, we became very good friends. And then obviously when he got traded, there's a good chance. And then when he told me that he was getting his chance, I think that was the big one for me. Is like he earned it. He worked hard. He showed the player that he is, and he also went up there and had success. And it's like he worked hard, and seeing that one, I think is a big one for me. Also, I think Penrod, the way his story where he came from, indie ball to, just popping up out of nowhere, and, taking the chance that he got and not looking behind, I think is another big one. That, he's a great guy. We were locker mates and everything. So I think that's another big one for me, is like, no matter where you are last year, you get your chance and you take it, you can still do something with that. So I think that's another special one.
Yeah, Zach Penrod, man, that story is absolutely incredible, and
Yeah.
I think people all know about his story by now. I hope so. If not, they got to go look that up, because
Yeah,
that
they do.
that guy has traveled, and it's just the way where he came from and where he is now, man, incredible.
It
I have
is.
one more baseball related question, then I got a couple off field questions, and then I'm going
Okay.
to let you slide. But obviously, we were talking about the trade, and you came up in the Red Sox system for so long, and you're in the Angels now. What kind of differences have you noticed between the two orgs? It can be anything from just like pitching development all the way to just how they go about things. Like, what did you notice on going to the Angels?
I mean, I think people kind of just see, little tweaks and things that I could make, in pitching. And I think the Red Sox, they did go to a lot of heavy off speed, and they obviously helped me create the cutter and sweeper that I have now. And I mean, they really helped me get those to be my two weapons. And then when I got to the Angels, they're like, we want you throwing your fastball a lot more. So it's like, though both sides seeing, what I have with both, and kind of the Angels combining them, and those things you just see, what organizations see, some are fastball heavy, some are off speed heavy, some are, this, that. I think just seeing the differences in philosophies and pitching, and, getting help from both and combining the two and becoming the pitcher I am, I'm grateful for, both organizations of what they've done for me, and, got me to where I am today.
Did you keep the I Throw Fuego shirt?
Yeah, I think it's in my bag, and yeah, in the other room.
Okay.
It's in there.
I didn't know if I didn't know if you kept it or not. I remembered that though. I was like, remember you and Guerrero were wearing it around.
Oh,
So
yeah, he loved me and him love to wear that, us 2 messing around out there, so maybe I'll give it to my brother to wear it or something, but I think it's in one of the bags in there.
okay, yeah, I didn't know if that was something that you're just like, yeah, it's like I'm moving on. It's like I can kind of ditch that one, but yeah, I don't know. I was curious about that one
No,
because I
yeah.
remember you were taking some photos in it and everything, but. All right, so I just have a few off the field questions. Obviously, like
Alright.
we had you on the podcast last off season, and we kind of talked about what you like to do. I kind of know what you do off the field, but I don't know if that's changed or not. Obviously, like with being on a 40-man roster, and you got to spend time with the significant other now. What are you doing in your free time?
I'm doing the same thing, I'm enjoying my family time and playing video games.
That's what I was looking for.
Nothing's gonna change with me, we're living in Kansas City, which, there's a lot more to do around there than Topeka, so we're out and about a lot more, and, I'm exploring some places, but I still just play my video games, work out, and just like to live my little chill life, so that's nothing's changed since, being on the 40 man or getting called up. I still play my video games and hang out with my family and girlfriend while I'm back, so
All right, you remember Hayden Mullins, right? Did you ever?
yeah,
Okay, so
we lived
there's
together
a
for a little bit.
okay, so I had Hayden on earlier this offseason, and some of his roommates outed him a little bit, but the amount of hours that he's put in on the new Call of Duty are in the hundreds right
Mm.
now. Over 200 is what I was told by his roommates. So, um, have you been getting in on the Call of Duty, or are you still? I know you were a big Fortnite guy. What are you playing these days?
I'm still on Fortnite. I got the new COD, I played a little bit, but I still run back to my COD ways, and, I don't know if I'll ever leave my Fortnite ways. I mean, I loved COD growing up, and that's the game I grew up on, but it's just nothing like it used to be, back in Modern Warfare 2 and that stuff, so once they kinda come back with something like that, maybe, but just some of these new ones, Fortnite's been my way, and I'm just gonna stick with it, so I love the
It's
show too,
crazy.
obviously, when the show comes out, I like to play the show a lot.
Were you sending? You probably had a real 99. I know you probably got one
Yeah, I
sent,
did.
but are you messaging the guy, be like, hey, my rating on this is a little low? What are you thinking?
No, I mean, I'll have my real 99 card, but I probably got like a little common 64 in there or something, to start. Got to work my way up on there, The daily
Yeah,
the daily attributes hopefully go up over the season.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I used to be so big into the show, and then I don't know, man. I just can't get back into it. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
what they did with the game this year was kind of a little hurt. It
I
hurt me a
know.
little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I got a fun question for you that I'm actually curious about. If you were
All
not
right.
playing professional baseball right now, what would you be doing with your life?
That's a hard one, with I got my degree in school from business administration, and so I think something, I kind of like numbers, math, finance, that kind of stuff. Maybe.
Think he got a call, I'm assuming. So I'm going to he's a finance bro. But all right, there we go. I was filling the air right there. I know you got a call.
All right. I don't know.
You're good. I think you got a call, but we're still in this.
I did. Can you see my face on the screen, or is it like half?
Oh yeah. You're
Okay.
good.
It just shows half on mine. But what were you asking?
So you were saying you majored in business
Oh,
administration and
yeah, business. Just I don't know. Maybe like maybe a real estate too. I have a couple of friends in real estate. Maybe buying some of those and working in that. I think a cool thing. I know at least one guy. They do Airbnbs. They've bought Airbnbs, fixed it up. Done that type of stuff. So obviously it's hard. When you're in baseball, not trying. Not thinking about it. Obviously when the day comes, I'll have to figure something out. But I think something with finance or numbers like that, I think was something I'd be most interested in.
yeah, after hearing Blaze Jordan's story about him now being a guy who flips houses, I'm like, man, I feel like that's like the perfect like kind of thing to have while you're playing baseball. It's like we're fixing up these houses and moving on from them. And I told him that's probably an HGTV show in the future where it's like
100%.
he goes in, it's like, hey, I play baseball, but we also flip. I don't know. It's I feel like it's a perfect thing for baseball players, kind of have like real estate or something like that as a side hobby.
You could call it flip
Uh,
it or blaze it.
ooh, gotta tell him that one.
Maybe
I
I
like
might
that
I
one.
might let him know.
All right. I got one question here before I move to the last segment. It's going to be a real quick one, but this is a part food podcast. I'm a Zaxby's lover, but I'm not going to ask you about Zaxby's. But I need your Mount Rushmore of fast food chains. I just need your top 4. They can be drive-through or sit down.
I'm gonna have to put Cane's up there.
That's
I'm a
fair.
Cane's guy. Chick-fil-A for me. I mean, I don't think I can go wrong with Chick-fil-A. Um, I'm gonna have to put Chipotle up there because that's just one of my, kind of after a workout meal. I think I can never go wrong with it. I might have overdone myself on it, but I still go back. And
That's fair.
then I have never been a big Taco Bell guy, but I mean, sometimes, lately just some of them like cheesy gordita crunches hit really a lot right now. I think people think Taco Bell's the worst for you, but sometimes a couple of those cheesy gordita crunches, they hit the spot, and the spicy ranch in it, has made me a big fan of just getting a couple of those and calling it good. So I might have to put Taco Bell up there just for that.
I'm with you, man. The cheesy gordita crunch. I order it every single time. That is a
I didn't
go-to.
know what it was. My girlfriend put me on it, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll like this. And I'm like, wow, like
It's
this
so
is
good,
something I could
man.
do. Yeah, this I could
It's
get
so,
2 of these at Taco Bell and be perfectly fine, and not order the whole menu trying to find something I like.
yep, dude. You've explained it to a T because when me and my wife go, we're just like, what do we get? Like, we don't know. Like, she's kind of all over. She's like, oh, I want to try that. No, I want to try this. Want to try that. It's like
Hmm.
cheesy gordita crunches, man. Like, I'm good. Don't
That's
need
all I
it.
need. Yeah.
2 of them, and you're good. You're good for the night. All right.
Yep.
So I got one last segment here for you. I'm still workshopping names on it, so bear with me. I'm just calling it this or that right now. I'm giving you 2 options, and you just got to give me the which one you prefer.
Okay.
I'm only going to make you defend yourself if you're in the minority on some of these. They're pretty easy. I think you got
Okay.
this. Um, they're all over the place too, so
All
just
right.
bear with me. When you go on vacation, would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains?
The mountains.
when Which one do you prefer, summertime or fall time?
Fall.
It's a good man. Sunflower seeds or bubble gum?
Sunflower seeds.
Would you rather pitch in a day game or night game?
Day game.
Ooh, why is that?
I don't know. I get myself going in the morning. Some people struggle, maybe hitters getting going in the morning, but sometimes when it's a little warmer and, day game, I think like those a little better. We play a lot of night games, so when it's the day game, I get myself ready, and then, you got the rest of the day to do whatever you do. I think that's a big thing. Sometimes with the night games, you're consumed all day with, baseball, but if you play day game, you get there, you done, you got the rest of the day, have a nice dinner with the girlfriend, go explore the cities. That's my reasoning.
Okay, I don't hate that. I get it. I've actually got a lot more day games than night games, which I've been surprised about. But a lot of
Mhm.
guys like pitching in the daytime, which is
Yeah.
interesting to me. I know you haven't started in a while, but I want to ask you this: which one was more fun, starting or coming out of the bullpen?
Coming out of the bullpen.
Okay, that was easy for you.
Yeah, easy. It changed for me, like, yeah, just be able to come out, let it loose for a few innings. That's my type of tea now.
Okay. Yeah, I hear a lot of guys say starting because there's like a routine they can get into. They know when they're throwing, blah blah blah, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I feel like with you being, it's been so long since you started. I feel like so.
I like getting thrown
Um,
in the fire, not having to think about anything, just go.
yeah, you late inning guys are absolute psychopaths in a good way. Which one would you rather have, a cheeseburger or a chicken sandy?
Cheeseburger.
Okay, I'm gonna. Have you ever been to Arizona before?
Yeah.
Okay, which one is worse, Arizona heat or Florida heat?
I haven't been to Arizona in the summer. I've heard it's bad. The
Okay.
humidity, I think, in Florida for me takes it, with just all the time, no matter what time of the day, it's hot. And Arizona's beautiful right now, obviously, but I think the Arizona heat also could. I haven't experienced it, so maybe I can't quite answer it, but my answer right now is the Florida heat and humidity.
Yeah, because obviously I knew you were doing spring trainings down in Fort Myers, and then obviously you were in the fall league, but you were there when it's like what, like October, November, like
The
time.
best weather, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you'd ever been like around the same time you'd been to Florida, and I'm always curious who thinks it's worse than Florida humidity. God.
Yeah.
All right, which one would you rather watch, HGTV or History Channel?
Oof, HGTV.
That's a good man right there. I like
Yeah.
both. Don't get me wrong, big fan of both. One last question here, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Which way would you rather end an inning, on a strikeout or a double play?
Um, I think it depends on the inning, how things are going. I would say double play though,
Okay, well,
because
why is that?
just you might be in trouble, and that is a big way to get out of the inning, and it, it could save your day right there. You could have strike out any game, but a big double play could change the momentum of a game maybe too.
Yeah, and I hear both ways. Like I've asked this question to a few pitchers now, and it's like, some guys are just like, well, a strikeout, I can get pumped up, I can give a nice fist pump and stuff like that. But then I'm like, well, double play, you possibly only throw one pitch and you get out of
Yeah,
it. And you were in trouble with the guy on first, but I like it. I like hearing both ways, though. I
yeah.
always,
I think it's a
always,
situation.
yeah. I'm with you. Well, Ryan, I appreciate the time coming on once again this offseason. Now a two-time guest, which I very much appreciate.
Of
We're
course.
definitely going to be looking out for you in spring training down in the Angels and Arizona for the first time in your professional career. So thank you so much. And yeah, we're best of luck in 2025.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.